Hi, Stacy. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share a few things in respect of what I've been doing for the last 17 years in respect of my functions with when I was formerly with the Guyana Prison Service. And it specifically relates not just with prisoners' welfare, but various aspects of reform and particularly advocacy for alternative sentencing, which I've been advocating for that for quite a while. And it's quite an interesting area of function, particularly because there are generally many people in the society in general have an opinion that unless someone is sentenced to prison and to be subjected to the most horrible kinds of conditions, people don't feel that justice is served.
She believes that persons need to realize that it takes a lot of community involvement and collaboration, noting that the work being done internally in the prisons in terms of rehabilitation needs to be corroborated with external support.
Because all the work that can be done inside, that is rehabilitation efforts, changing behavior, imparting skills and things of that nature, still require the cooperation for the persons under release that they can be employed and become productive citizens. Because for the most part, being in prison or someone being incarcerated carries a stigma. And the stigma is very hard to be removed. And quite often, individuals who have done their time will recount that they come out of prison and feel that they're doing another sentence.
She explained to me a concept she had developed aimed at bridging the gap between rehabilitation and reintegration, two processes that call for much collaboration and special attention.
Just tell us about that concept of reintegration that you were speaking about.
Okay, the concept relates to a theme of sentence planning and management, whereby I designed all the forms, all aspects of the concept, that there would be planning units at each location, that there would be individuals who would be part of a team that would interview the prisoners, all the prisoners. And especially there wasn't a special focus on the convicted prisoners, but we recognize that there would be some persons who would be on remand for quite a little while, and to take advantage of their time in there, that they should also be exposed at least to the behavior change and skills acquisition emphases. And this concept also required the development of a sentence management board, and that board would have been the phase or the aspect of the phase that would address the reintegration efforts. I will give you more details on that as we talk, but the aspect of this individual interviews of the prisoners were to determine what were their actual needs, their sociological needs, their spiritual needs, their welfare needs, as well as their skill acquisition, or what were their literacy levels.
The Reverend underscored the importance of this strategy, given the fact that it was observed that a high percentage of prisoners over the past 15 years are recorded as having a high level of illiteracy.
I was shocked to find men who were 30-something and 40 years old who didn't even know the alphabet at all, and who did not even know to sign their name, who would have to use their thumbprint.
Tell us about the response from the prisoners as it relates to these programs that were implemented within the prison system, getting them into the literary arts and other forms to basically educate them in different ways.
Having those persons involved changed the dynamics as well, because those persons also, some of them came in with some measure of timidity and apprehension, but in a short time, they were conscious. They were conscious of the impact they were making. They were aware that the prisoners valued what was happening, and they began to observe the the change in their countenance, their anxieties to come to the classes. They were, we would have observed also that prisoners would have become very upset when, if maybe the classes were cancelled for whatever reason, or perhaps if there was some issue in the environment, maybe a security issue that required maybe rescheduling or cancelling of any session. And I know that the director at the time, he even commented on the forums such as graduations. We had graduation ceremonies for these men, and his comment, I recall, was that he saw the light come on in the eyes of the prisoners, that their attitude and their orientation was different.
The former prison chaplain, who received an award for her work in that regard, said many persons believe this approach is soft on crime. However, she had a counteraction to what she describes as a preconceived opinion.
Given your expertise and having traveled to so many different countries and having seen the situations in those prison systems, what do you feel right now is necessary to alleviate some of the problems that Guyana is facing in the prison system? Apart from overcrowding, we find that a lot of people are being sentenced to long terms for, I don't know if to call them minor offenses, but not so severe offenses such as murder and manslaughter, whatever. How do you feel we can deal with this? How can we tackle these issues that we are facing currently?
Okay, one of the components of the sentence management concept was that each prison was not to just make a generalization, oh, we're overcrowded, but they would determine the specific capacity of that particular prison and what is manageable levels of overcrowding.
Reverend Clarke received a Medal of Service in 2011 with regard to prison reform and the establishment of a comprehensive sentence planning and management for the Guyana Prison Service was also her initiative. She also received a Medal of Service and other accolades. Clarke was part of the Sentence Management Board, Recruitment Board, and the Inter-Prison Visiting Committee. For Newsroom, Stacy Carmichael-James.